So, good evening. This is Caroline Tapkin for Travel Daily Inspiring Women in Travel Asia. And I'm joined today by Komal Darira, who is founder Women for World. Now, Komal, welcome. Lovely to see you here. So tell us who you are, what you do, and how you got into it.
Thank you so much for firstly giving me this opportunity. It's a pleasure to be here with you, Carolyn. Thank you. And now, who am I? So my name is Komal Darira, and I have been working in the travel and tourism industry in India from past 8 years. I started pretty young at the age of 19. I still remember as a tour guide. And the most fascinating job a woman could have in India, let me be honest in that. I was very excited to be a part of this. So just giving you an overview of how I got into this profession before I start talking about my later journey. I remember I was a student of journalism and I was very excited about politics in India. I always used to research a lot. And obviously, India is a land of religion, so you have so much to talk about. And then I was looking for a job through which I can actually sustain myself and handle my expenses. And one day I remember one of my cousins came to me and said, "Oh, there's a job vacancy of a tour guide somewhere." And my mom was like, "What is a tour guide? Nobody wants to be a tour guide. You're good at academics. Go into a job." And I was like, "No, mom, let me go and give an interview." Trust me, Carolyn, if I would have been the interviewer, I wouldn't have hired myself. I still say it to all the people I work with. It was such a bad interview. The only thing I was showing everybody was the zeal to learn, the zeal to grow. And I always wanted to explore this new profession because it was very interesting for a 19-year-old girl that, okay, you are going and you're meeting people. And that too, the people from West, which you always see in the movies. And you would get to experiment your English, you would get to learn, you would get to walk with them, and you would get to explore the city with them and talk about your country, which I love.
Let me stop you there, right there. You say that you wouldn't have hired you. Why not?
The reason was I was like, when I became the manager and I was interviewing girls, I used to always get fascinated with the kind of knowledge the young girls had when it came on. But when I entered into the industry, I had very little knowledge of what tourism is. The reason is we never thought tourism as a profession in our country. And at that time, the only thing an answer I was giving on every question was, I want to learn. I'm new, but I want to learn.
So why do you think they actually hired you? Why did they hire you?
Yeah, I remember my manager at that time was Tushar, and he said, "No, I want to give this girl a chance." I was the first female tour guide in the company, the first female who actually showed up for the interview. So they wanted to give me the chance, and I'm so thankful till today to each one of them who gave me the chance. Because of them, I'm here today. And once I got the chance, Carolyn, I remember my first tour, I still remember, was with a 75-year-old lady from England. And she traveled the entire world and she was treating me as her granddaughter. We spent 4 days together. And I remember in all those 4 days, I understood how much travel can impact your life. How her journey was inspiring me, whereas I was, with my perceptions, changing her image on India. And that was the day I realized that this is what I'm passionate about, and now I'm not looking back. And I remember 1 year of me training myself, going out there, leading tours with hundreds of people all around the world. I was awarded the Guide of the Year the same year by Intrepid Travel in Urban Adventures, and I was honored. And this is how my journey started. It started with a big question mark on, would I be able to do it? What is tour guide? Is tour guiding a good job for a woman? Because these are the taboos that our society have, sadly, in our country. And in 1 year, I said it straight away to everybody who used to come to me and say, "Would you be a tour guide? Really?" So I used to be proud saying that, yes, this is what I'm passionate about. I'm going to go into it. And 3 years I gave to tour guiding, and it changed my personality. It changed my perception. It made me feel proud of my country. And I wanted to raise it away. I used to spread it a lot, very proudly, that, oh, yes, I'm a girl and I'm a tour guide. you should also look into it. It's a great profession. And I think this is what got me into what I'm doing right now. Today, I am the founder of Women for World. And the reason I founded Women for World along with my colleague Srishti, I still remember, was in the pandemic, we saw so many women at every level in the industry losing their jobs and losing opportunities because of the pandemic. Everybody was getting fired, there were redundancies everywhere, and the impact was happening at every level. And I realized that maybe this is the right time to show women that they are not made only to be at the ground levels of the hierarchies. They're much more. If you are a woman and you have leadership quality, then you can be actually at any level, any hierarchy level. You can be the CEO of the brand. You don't need to be a man to be the CEO. But anyways, this is how we started moving forward with an image and initiative to inspire young minds, and especially women, to travel more fearlessly, to break taboos. We wanted to bring stories of those women who are doing incredible job in the industry. I remember I started with the story of a young girl who did her first trek. That's it. That was her achievement, and she used to feel very proud of it. And I think that achievement inspired a lot of girls to go out and travel solo in the country. So these are the things which I started doing. And now it's been 1 year of Women Forward. We go to the colleges, universities, talk to the girls, young boys, tell them about gender diversity. We talk about gender inclusivity. We talk about opportunities. We talk about how to get prepared. You don't need to be you need to have the qualities to get into the tourism industry rather than, just thinking about who you are as a gender and all these things. And I think this is how we are now. I feel very proud saying that we are trying to make a little difference in the mentality, in the mindset of the people in the industry.
I mean, it must have been very challenging when you first started as the only female tour guide. What are the sort of challenges that you came up against and continue to come up against, and how are you handling those?
There were a lot of challenges, to be honest. The first challenge, to be honest, Carolyn, living in a country like India is the society itself, the people in your surroundings whom you think are yours, but they at the back of you don't want you to pursue something different because they think you are actually impacting the other women or their kids, which can be a wrong impact. So this was something which I used to deal with every day. Like, people used to talk to my mom, tell her that, okay, you should tell your daughter not to do this, or this industry is bad, women in the industry are not reputed, or something like that. So this was something which I faced a lot. But the best part about these perceptions is it's so much fun when you are able to change them. I remember all those people who used to come to my mom and say that, oh, what is your daughter doing, to now saying, wow, can you tell your daughter to come and teach our daughters how she does that? So this is how you have to believe in yourself and things start changing, but it takes time. Another thing is, when you get on the field, especially in India, you have to actually face a lot of people on the field who cannot see women leading. Like when you go into the markets, there are men who don't want you to guide because they think you're stealing their jobs. Then there are people who think you're not suitable just because you're a woman. And I used to face a lot of that. But the best part is when you have your support or your mentors behind you who are just pushing you all the time and telling you, no, you're doing things right. That actually impacts you a lot as a personality, and this helped me a lot. Until now, I face a lot of taboos even by women. I remember one of the meetings, and I always state that in all my workshops, in all my lectures, that I met two young girls who started their business, and they met me because they wanted to collaborate last year. And they said, oh, you don't have a man in your team. And I said, no, it's fine. They said, how are you going to deal with the drivers? The drivers would never listen to a woman. And that was the taboo straight away. And I didn't want to work with them at that time because I thought, being a woman, you cannot actually say that this is something I cannot do just because I'm a woman. Mm-hmm. And I've been dealing with drivers and transporters from past 8 years, so I knew how to do that. But this is sadly the reality, that it's not only the men or the other people in the society who pushes you back, but it's your fellow, sometimes your fellow, colleagues as well, your women, who thinks that, okay, this is not the right job for us. And these were some things which I've faced a lot. Even I remember when I was on a tour one day, and I've stated it in a lot of my interviews, you sometimes feel unsafe yourself when you're traveling around. Have had a lot of intenses and instances like that where I felt unsafe myself, and I realized that, okay, now I understand why my parents think that it's not safe to go out or travel. But this never pushed me back. And till today, there has been a lot of instances where I sometimes felt like, am I doing the right thing? Am I even at the right place? But then I see a lot of young girls out there texting me and saying that, okay, ma'am, I feel inspired when you travel solo, or I love the way you talk in front of these people. That actually inspires me every single day to say that, okay, Komal, you're doing good, and keep fighting these challenges. So yeah.
That's quite a story. I mean, tell me a little bit more about Women for World. What exactly do you do?
Okay, so basically we started Women for World it as a digital platform where we are going to post stories of women. That's it. That was the vision. We just wanted to inspire young girls to come out of their shells, and if they think they want to travel, they should travel, because I think travel is the best form of education.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to change this mindset in my country where travel is considered a luxury. I always say that travel is not a luxury. It's the best form of education you can get in the country, like India. So this is how we started. And later on, I realized when I left my job at Intrepid in December 2020, a lot of people came to me and said, we love the way you travel. Would you take us along with you? And that triggered something in my mind, that why not to change Women for World into a travel organization? And that's what I did. Then I started creating, along with my team, we started creating products which were unexplored. Like, we used to take people in the pandemic. Imagine we were taking people to a small village which was completely unexplored, where you're eating the food which was made by the villagers and the women working in the villages. You're actually living in their houses, and then you are exploring the real lives of the country, which you won't be able to otherwise. So this is how the journey of Women for World started, as a tour organization. Later on, I realized that we have the power to change the mindsets of the young mind, and I got into the field of workshops, where we used to arrange workshops for the young minds and all the tourism students who want to learn but they don't find any option to learn from. And we used to go to them and tell them what tour guiding is. So we actually started planting seeds on how interesting a tour guiding job is, and why you should start your career with a job like tour guide. And then we started planting the seeds in the minds of the girl. And trust me, Carolyn, I feel very proud to say that we trained a lot of girls in April, and today half of them are tour leaders. They are actually taking women, they're taking actually large groups of people all around India. And I get texts from them that we inspired them to take that, like courageous step at the age of 19, that they are guiding. And that makes me feel very proud of what kind of work we're doing. Later on, we realized that this is not enough, because we are in the pandemic right now, and it was not sustainable for us to only do these two things, because we were not getting enough bookings, to be honest. And then we got into the virtual world, and that is how I connected with the people from all corners of the world through brands. And what we did, I remember I started my first virtual tour by a cooking class, where I introduced everybody to my mom and me, and we cooked for them. And I remember I had around 70 people on the tour. And today, Carolyn, they all text me and say that every week, Sundays are India Sundays, where whatever I teach them, they cook it. Whenever they eat one spoon of whatever meal they are cooking, they remember me. They think of India, and they think of how India is so beautiful, and they would love to visit us once again. So this is how we started connecting with the people from all corners of the world virtually. I showed them a wedding. I showed them how I celebrate Diwali with my family, and I made them a part of my world. So this is how we are now using virtual world to connect with our brand and to raise awareness about Women for World and our country, and how beautiful and diverse India is. And we just want to tell women out there that you can come to our country. It's safe to travel. You just need to be alert and safe, and we can help you do that. So yes, this is what Women for World is doing at 3 different levels. We are organizing tours, workshops, and virtual tours.
It's amazing that so much good has actually come out of the pandemic, because things like that you would never really have considered before the pandemic, when the world came to a standstill.
That's true. That's true.
What are the things that you never considered starting up your own business? What's happened that you've had to deal with that you hadn't thought about previously?
I never thought of starting my own business. Let me be honest here. I never wanted to start my own business because, see, being from a middle class family in a country like India and having a lot of responsibilities on you, I remember I was 19, I was earning, and then I became a manager. At 22, I was a manager leading teams all around India. So I was already getting everything I wanted and I was happy. But I remember in March when the pandemic hit India, that was the time for me to think, because every day I used to wake up with a fear that I'll lose my job.
Mm-hmm.
Every day I was filled with anxiety that what I'm going to do if I lose my job. How am I going to take care of my family, and how am I going to take care of my expenses? Because my dad was there, he earns good money, so I don't need to worry about my family. But I used to worry about myself a lot. Later on, I remember I talked to my mentor, who's Nikki, and he lives in Prague. And he asked me a simple question: where do you see yourself in upcoming 5 years? Do you see yourself managing the same business? Do you see yourself doing something different? And suddenly one word came into my mind, that I see myself doing good for the people, because somebody did good for me and I want to do the same for them. And in June, I started working on Women for World, and that name suddenly struck my mind, that my company would be called Women for World. And I remember he asked me this question: why Women for World? Why this name? And I remember saying that I've worked with a lot of companies where men lead and everybody loves to book in. I want to see how many people would be interested to book with a company which is led by women. Let me change the scenario from here itself. It is Women for World, not Women for Women. And at that time, I started realizing that it is high time that I should start something of my own. And then in December, when I lost my job, when I could apply for any other job because of the recognition and appreciation I got from all the brands. But I decided that 1 year of my life, I want to invest in my brand. I want to invest in my experiences. And here I am today, sustaining myself happily. And yes, working on new strategies. So yes, things changed. The pandemic changed me completely.
Yeah. What's been the biggest challenge of having your own company?
The biggest challenge is sustainability. That is, like running a sustainable business in such times when everything is so unpredictable. Mm-hmm. Like a moment when you see, okay, the business is picking, everything is going well. And now today we are in lockdown. I remember my December went really well. We organized so many trips for people. And then January, everything is locked. We are back again. We are back to zero. And keeping that motivation on is very difficult. Keep staying motivated, inspired, driven is very difficult. And then you have a team of 2 young girls, who want to achieve a lot. And you're worried for them because you don't want them to feel low. So keeping your spirits high along with keeping them motivated sometimes is a big challenge, which you have to deal with. And finances are another challenges which we have to deal with. But I have learned one thing, Carolyn, that this pandemic has taught me that creativity has no limits. If you are creative and if you are a learner, there are no limits of earning. I never thought I can earn from virtual tours. I never thought that. And I'm doing that. So, like putting my own example out there, I always say this to my team and I always say this to myself on the days when I feel low, that look at that Komal back yesterday who was clueless about starting her own business, and look at yourself today, 1 year of just sustaining yourself without anybody's help. You can do it. So this is something that sometimes brings me down, sometimes is gives me a lot of anxiety, that what about my future? How am I going to do things? Like, I would be getting married this year, and I sometimes feel like, okay, after getting married, how I would be doing things. But one thing which keeps me driven is my own self, and some people who are very good for my life, whom I really like to keep around, and who are a great positive energy, who sends me a lot of positivity. That's my grandma.
Mhm.
And she just gives me this vibe, and I feel like nothing is wrong with me. I'm completely fine. You can say she's my stress reliever. So
It's
yeah,
great when you've got people around you like that.
that's
Who
true.
who else has inspired you along the way? Who do you look up to?
Who do I look up to? So let me start it in a way. When I was a kid, I used to look up to my grandma and my mom a lot, because I saw them dealing with the family. I saw them dealing with other things. I saw them multitasking. And I used to get fascinated how a woman can do all these things together and keep everybody happy. I cannot do that. And they inspired me in a lot of ways because they fought for me everywhere. Every time I wanted to do something different, they were standing there. Whereas in other families, like in India especially, the grandparents are the ones who are little stereotyped, old fashioned, they don't let you do things. Whereas my grandma, super cool. She's like, you want to do it, do it. Don't worry about whosoever thinks whatever. So getting that kind of support means a lot. And then when I got into the industry, one person whom I used to look up to a lot was my own boss, my general manager. And I used to get fascinated with the way he used to talk. Carolyn, there are a lot of examples of women inspiring women. And I've seen that. I am inspired by Michelle Obama, Diana, and so many other people. But then I see some of the men out there who advocate for women
Mhm.
and who are always at the back. They don't show up saying that I am doing this for women, but they just tell you in the ears that you have the potential, and then they push you incredibly well. He did that to me. He was that force for me, and I still admire him a lot because he believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. So I really respect all those people who don't have those gender barriers, and they're still motivating each person to keep going. So he was the one inspiration, and today I would say I get inspired by all those young girls who are making a difference. Like, I go to the college, I see young girls with super big plans of being an entrepreneur, and I I feel so inspired that how on earth a 19-year-old girl has a business plan in her hand and she's ready to conquer the world. So if she can do it, I am a 27-year-old girl. I should surely be doing it. So every day I find an inspiration into things. There's not one person who inspires me a lot, but every day I feel inspired by stories I read, by people I see, by I get inspired by animals. I love animals. I get inspired by a mama elephant taking care of a baby elephant. When I see it, I feel good. And I think every small moment that when it starts giving you positivity, that is what transforms you into a positive person rather than a person which is full of negativity or something like that. So, yeah.
Fantastic. And what's in your future?
What's in my future? I See, when people ask me where do I see myself in 5 years, I don't know right now because I have a lot of answers. But right now in this pandemic, I won't say I would be heading a company with this many employees, this much turnover. But I still remember one of the quotes by Michelle Obama, which when she said it, I follow it from my heart. And it states like, I have written this quote in my diary and I read it every single day when I wake up in the morning, that success isn't about how much money you make. It is about difference you make in people's lives. And I personally think that in upcoming 5 years, if I see 20 women standing up and bringing that difference in the industry, bringing more inclusivity in the industry, and I was 1% part of their journey, I would be very successful. So I see myself in the upcoming 5 years creating a huge difference where I would be changing mindsets of my own country people and women out there to come out of their shells and travel more.
Amazing. What advice would you give to your younger self? Knowing what you know now, what would you tell your younger self?
I think I would tell my younger self to be more fearless, to be more confident of who you are. I remember when I was 19, I used to be very cautious about how I look. I used to be very cautious about how I dress, how I speak. I used to look up to the people and look at them being so beautiful, so fascinating, how attractively they talk. And I used to feel very low that I'm nowhere around these people. And I would just say this to my younger self, that be yourself and the world can handle. So you just believe in yourself and keep going. Yeah.
And what advice would you give to the young girls coming up now?
I think one advice I want to give to the young girls is that if you believe that you can do it, then fight for it. Fight for your passion, because nobody else would fight for you the more you can. Don't rely on the other people. And if you want to be independent in your life, and if you want to be the writer of your own book, then fight for your passion and live up to your spirits. This is something I would love to say.
Great. And where are you traveling next? What's on
Where
the
am I
wish list?
traveling next? I love traveling. I love exploring small cities in India. And recently I traveled to Pushkar, where it was world's biggest camel fair. Now I'm planning to travel to sand dunes. I love Rajasthan. So I love to go to the communities and see how women work in handicrafts and all these things. So once the pandemic, the corona gets a little better in India, I would love to go to Jaisalmer and explore the small villages in that area.
There's enough in India to keep you busy for years, isn't there?
Yes, there's enough in India, and also I'm getting married in September, so there's a lot to keep me busy
Oh,
this year.
congratulations. So that should be taking a focus in the next few months, shouldn't it?
Yes.
Where are you getting married?
I'm getting married in Delhi only. Yeah.
Great. Well, I mean,
Yes.
that's been very inspiring. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you, Carolyn.
As we finish, how many work with you? How many women do you have working with you?
So right now we have two women. Like I have my co-founder, sorry, Srishti Sharma, and then we have Pallavi, and both of them leads their own style of virtual tours.
Mm-hmm.
So they have this income along with them, and they give workshops. And they're young girls who used to be in my team when I was the manager at Urban Adventures. And I hired them as young girls in the colleges, and now they are grown-up women leading their ways all around the industry. So yes, I have two girls as of now. We used to hire a lot of interns, but now we are planning on expanding our team once the pandemic gets over. So let's see.
It's very inspiring to see what you have taken from the pandemic and the difficulties and what you've made of it, what you've created for yourself.
Thank you, Carol. It means a lot.
And we look forward to seeing the future growth and future successes.
Finger crossed.
Indeed. And let's hope the pandemic ends once and for all very soon.
Yes.
So I'd like to thank you for joining us today and for your inspiring story, and wish you every success for the future. And congratulations on the upcoming marriage. And I hope that all goes very smoothly for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you so much.